Hey, Pusnet, new video. This one is on the Big Brother Phase 2. I was hoping that I would give the final video for the middle part, but as you can see from some of the picture, the wiring is all done. That's the cluster mess there. But I started to work also on a TNC, the TNCX. And from the picture here, you see it's all completed, but one of the issue that I encounter is that it's not receiving audio, so I need to troubleshoot it. And so now that project is kind of on hold. Well, not on hold, but the finishing the box is on hold. So but I was able to complete the battery part of my project. So we'll see that a little bit. So initially, this is what I was seeing, is it would have a battery and then have this box on the top of it. Didn't look that great and stuff. And through error, mistakes, and all bunch of things got together, I end up having an extra piece of wood from my initial from my mid box, and then when I put it in place, it fit perfectly. And this is the piece of wood that you see over here. And so the was I able to do is all my cabling goes through the two slits on it, and are attached to the battery under. And as you can see here, they're kind of fans, so, and on the negative it's a little bit the same thing. And so what I have attached to this, so I got a system here. I forgot the name of it, but I'll put a link down. And it's basically an attachment that I connect straight from for charging my batteries and maintaining them as well for AGM. So the reason I went straight to the batteries initially, when I tried with the little brother, what I've discovered is that this system, because it's a smart charger, if it was going through the charge controller, somehow it didn't charge the battery. So I don't know if the communication or something or whatever. Anyway, but it didn't do it. So what I did is hook my charging straight to my battery, and the cables comes with a fuse. I think it's a 10 amps fuse itself. So there's, even if let's say there would be a short from my charging, the battery is protected itself from the cable that came from the company. And it's literally a small connection. You just hook it up and inside and everything. So now all my batteries, I can use the same charger. Sorry. And I can even buy like there's one like for different batteries if I would like to, in the same company. But right now I have one which fits my need pretty good. But if I would want to charge different batteries, all I would have to do is buy a different charger. And all the systems are they look a little bit like Anderson Paul, but it's proprietary for that company. So now all my system have it. So little brother has his own battery connection, and my big brother has his own connection. And the open door for big brother has like little holes inside, and so basically I'm able to push all my cables out, because as you can see here from the picture, the battery that I decided to go with is called the from haze, and it's HZB. So hotels Zulu Bravo Echo Victor 12100, and it's 107 amps hour or something like that. So it's a big battery. So why did I go with a big battery? First, I wanted AGM because it's easier to maintain and all that stuff, and also doesn't liberate any gas from it. So that's why I went with those ones. So those batteries are kind of used usually for like solar systems and things like that. It's a heavy battery though. It's 30 pounds of battery. in the future I may change, especially I'm kind of on hold now for the project with Survivaltechnord, of his battery packs, because maybe what I could do is use like 4 different battery packs, because AGM versus other different chemistry of battery, is that the problem with this one is that when it drops down to 11.8, I cannot really use, and it will drop down pretty quickly to 11.8, so I can only use about 80% of that 30 pounds of battery for radio purpose. I could go down a little bit to 10, which is not that recommended, but for battery use, for amateur radio use, the batteries has 80% of it instead of 60, and I can use the other 20% for other purpose. I could bring down to about 10, usually 10.5. I think that's what they recommend, or like they say you should stop using the battery. So for amateur radio use, I'll be limited about what I can use my battery for. But there's other chemistry of batteries that you can, the curve, instead of kind of going like this, kind of goes more slowly, and so you can use maybe 40-60% of the battery instead of just using 20-30% of the battery. And so I may switch to that kind of batteries, and they're lighter as well. So anyway, so for now it's this battery, and the way I attach it. So the one beauty with this piece of wood that I had was that all my cabling I'm able to put it under, but now I used to think about carrying my charge controller in a separate case. But what I did then is I put it on the piece of wood, so now my whole system is inside. And so what you see here is the blue thing on the top there. That's my dump load, and the configuration of the system is on, and I'll put a link down. It's one that I found on eBay. They're sold usually for like home. I don't know if I would use that in home, as I think I would go a little bit higher up, but for the purpose that I have, I think I'll be safe. But basically it's what they call on the diverging mode. So what it means is that I can hook solar and wind turbine to my system, and the way it goes is that once the electricity goes, there's a magnet, and it brings it down, then lets the electricity kind of going through. And then if the battery, so it goes to the charge controller, and if the charge controller is like, whoa, battery's full, don't need anymore, sends another system, brings down that kind of gate, and what it does is the electricity then, instead of going straight through the charge controller, because that gate is down, what it does is that, or up, anyway, it's disconnected, is that it goes to the dump load, and the dump load is that blue thing, and so now the electricity kind of goes that way. And then if the battery kind of goes down again, boom, it goes up and stuff. So I can hook my solar and my wind straight to that system. So what I've been doing is I set up all the wiring and everything. And the beauty with this is, because it's a big battery, and it's a tool case, it's not made for that kind of abuse. It's kind of a kind of balancing thing, down, up. The battery push it too far sometimes, and so I try not to open it as much as I can. So now that all the wiring and all this is finished, all my cabling is coming out, so really it's hook and play. I can open up a little bit and then I see my charge controller. So for the last 14 days I've been monitoring, so I didn't put my battery on charge, and I've been just monitoring, and it's very easy. I just open it a little bit, then I can press on my charge controller and tells me exactly. So there's a voltmeter on my charge controller that plays with this. I also have on the side, and this is the other black part, is a 12 volt battery, well, cigarette lighter system, and I put a switch on that. And it was a sale. I was hoping just to put 3, but there was a sale, and that's the one that they had at the store, and it has 5 of it. The beauty with this one is that each of the 5 have a separate switch, and so I can either have 1 open or 5. And so when I open my switch, it put the current to the system, but it doesn't mean that all 5 are open, and so I have to put another switch on the back of the device to start my whatever channel I want to for the cigarette lighter. So that means also I can charge different device and things like that, because my battery, and this is one of the reasons I wanted a big battery, is that it's part of my because I live in a condo, so I don't have battery banks and things. So this is also part of my system, not only for radio but also for charging phones, keeping electricity around, and charging batteries and things like that. So that's why I have that system as well. And being a mobile station, that means if I go somewhere else, then I can charge their phones and stuff. I also, outside the box, put 2 Anderson poles that are straight to the battery, so they bypass the whole charge controller system. One of the reasons I did this is because the charge controller, if you go below, I think 11 something, it won't send any more electricity, which is great for radios and things like that, because it will protect not only my radios but also protect the battery of going down too low. But if I want to bypass that, because I need to really charge my phone or charge my batteries and stuff, I can access the Anderson pole that are right outside, and so basically I can hook a system outside and bypass all the system and hook it up straight to the batteries and monitor the or charge my device and things like that. And if I have to drain the battery, I have to drain the battery. But if I use this, it's kind of almost like the E-tank on your gas. So if I go to that port, I know that I'm in the heat tank. I'm on the E, and my gas tank is that my battery now I'm using my reserve, and so I have to be mindful of that. And actually, in my protocols that I'm working on, I have one protocol for that purpose, is that if I'm below a certain amount of electricity available, there's a whole bunch of things I need to do and stuff, so that's why I put that port there. So anyway, so that's phase 2, working pretty good. I'm about 98% completed. Once I figure out what's working with that TNC and stuff, I'll be able to finish the top part, and I have to just do a few wiring here and there for the thing, and hopefully by November. Actually, this week I'm going to go try my HF privilege test for amateur radio, so hopefully soon I'll be able to try the whole system, go on the balcony and something, whatever, and try see if it charge and all that stuff. So talk to you soon.